If you've ever struggled with perfect tattoo lines, then you're in the right place, because today I am going to show you how to get flawless lines every single time, guaranteed. Firstly, you want to make sure that you've got a clean stencil. I recommend a thermal printer. Make sure you've got quality needles. I am using these needles from Elite Tattoo Supply, who are sponsoring this video. Check them out below. Make sure you're not irritating the skin too much, so I recommend dry shaving with a disposable razor, because irritated skin can affect your lines. Now for the most important part, the line work itself. Steady hands are everything, so find a way to keep your hands stable depending on the position and the angle of your client. Here I'm stabilizing my left hand with my right to ensure that I don't make any shaky movements. Basically my thumb is being used as a stabilizer. You can kind of see, I'll point it out in the clip here. When you're working with your machine, aim for consistent speed. If you're going too fast or too slow, your lines can become uneven, so this is going to depend on what voltage you're using. I recommend low and slow. Find that sweet spot where you're comfortable though, and stick with it, because everyone does things a little bit differently when it comes to tattooing. In terms of how much pressure, it's going to depend on your machine and on what body part you're doing your tattoo. Also things like if you've got a direct drive motor, there's a lot of different factors, but generally for crisp lines you might benefit from adding a little bit extra pressure than you would with your normal tattoo techniques. Now here's another tip. The angle of your machine is really important if you're doing straight lines, so I normally tilt mine a little bit more than usual, but not like too flat, because that can oversaturate and give you blowouts, but it does give you better control and more saturated lines. Practice makes perfect, and you need a lot of experience doing lines over and over again to find that sweet spot that works for you. But keep your hands steady, that is the main important, and do not rush. As I say, I recommend low voltage and doing the lines very slowly. I'll show you that technique now. There's also a breathing technique that a lot of painters use when they need precision. So what you do is you inhale fully, then you exhale out halfway, and then you hold your breath, and you'll actually get really a steady hand by doing that. So you can try that out, see if that works for you. You'll find that different areas of the body require different techniques. So curved areas like the arm or leg can be a bit tricky, but the key is to adjust your hand and needle position. I do have additional techniques in the video that I will link above, but guys, make sure that you've got the correct stroke and throw settings. This is really important for your lines. The needle needs to be going in and out of the cartridge to make sure that it is picking up enough ink to ensure that the lines are bold and even, and that you're getting enough ink flow down into the skin. So remember, if you make any mistakes, don't panic. You can always go over lines a second time to clean things up. Just don't go over it too much or it won't heal well, and just try not to mess it up in the first place if you can. After you finish the line, wipe the area clean. This helps you see any areas that might need a little touch up after, but don't wipe too hard or too often, because this can irritate the skin and make it harder to get the ink in. Now with these tips you'll be nailing perfect tattoo lines every time. If you've got any questions, put them in the comments. It's all about preparation, technique and practice. Don't be afraid to experiment, find out what works best for you. And if you found these tips helpful, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and for all your tattoo tips and tricks, see you in the next one.